and here. Bring that spice of beer. Don't drink, you gotta live. Bring that spice of beer. We gonna drink now and here. Bring that spice of beer. Bring that spice of beer.
You could just set it on the side of the table. I mean,
I just do one.
it's still a bit. The first couple podcasts we did, especially Dan and Patrick and I, were like, it's like fucking beer bottles just like building up on the table. Dan's organizing them and stuff like that.
With Johnny Pat over here.
Oh yeah, he brings a 6-pack down, sets it alongside him, and just starts handing them out. But that's why I came up with having the
I really like
bottle cap opener right here. So yeah, I mean everything along here has been like some of it's just memorabilia, like the cool old pictures of Eisenman. Elon Musk was kind of an idol. Got that as a gift as the piece of land in Scotland. Eisenman, St. Pauli girl came from the same bar I got this from, right? The old bistro. And then of course I got the comic book from you, the Viking axe I made, the bottle or the opener, because we were down here originally over there, needed an opener, right? The red flags is from a video I did. We were talking about red flags of dating. It's like, oh yeah. It's like, oh yeah. So her whole family's crazy, but she's the sane one. It's kind of those things. Like, of course, Nikola Tesla on the Serbian dinars. Sammy Hagar, I can't drive 55. That fell out of a file cabinet. I didn't even realize I had it. Somebody must have given that to me a long time ago. Of course, nice. Dream Theater, my autograph poster and all the tickets and stuff. But so, well, we're rolling, so I'll just say, hey, welcome back to the He-Man Women Hater Club.
Hi! We are here to drink beer. Get the sandwiches.
Talk about women. Get us a sandwich, woman. I'm going to reiterate one more time on the sandwich comment because I have caught flack on that. That was part of a bigger conversation where he was just saying, do me something nice because I've been working hard all day, and then I'll in turn do something nice for you. Because he really just said after that, it's like, I'll rub your feet, baby, whatever you want to do. It's like, just do something kind for me,
Right. Well, I think...
And that's one of the things that I think men and women don't do much anymore. They just don't do...
Compliment each other or...
Well, compliments, or even in relationships, they don't do enough for each other. At least from what I've seen, it's. You got to be in a team. I mean,
yes,
you got to have each other's backs, and I don't think we're not taught to do that.
I mean,
we're taught to kind of be self-sufficient, and
the biggest formula in that is self-sufficiently. Depend on yourself, nobody else. Is what was really taught, especially in our generation. We grew up in a generation where technology and business was seriously advancing, and
very quickly too.
We were taught that we've got to work hard to survive. And we developed an overset mindset of, I do for me, I do for me, I do for me. Maybe that could be some of the demise and cause to it because it becomes almost a self-centered focus.
It is, and narcissistic behavior is also another thing that's on the rise too.
Yeah,
and that's very self-centered. It's an underdeveloped mentality that's very self-centered, very childlike. And these types of people that don't get what they want immediately go to throwing a fit, which is like a child would do. And it's more of an adult type of fit, and sometimes as males it comes out as rage, and for women it just comes out as a shitstorm. And a lot of men around them, males around them, will just do what they can to avoid it, and it kind of just compounds the behavior. But I think all of our growth has been stunted by these technological advances, and the ability to gain more things but less value out of it.
I mean, because of technology, we're less social. We don't connect with women.
What are you talking about? We're all on social media.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Social media is the place to go to get a date now.
Unfortunately. I mean...
it's the cyber version of me. The bad thing that it could have ever done with women is social media has gave them an angle to receive mounds of attention without any interaction.
True, and they can get it not just locally but globally.
Globally, yes.
Right.
And what you've got there is an over-entitled woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just going to create more mess for you in the dating world to get with a woman now. Social media has done, and not just that, there's no face-to-face interaction with them anymore. And if you approach a woman out in the streets now and you try to talk to them, or even come up to them and ask them for a date, you're looking like a sex offender to them.
Yeah, you don't want to get Me Too'd, right? And that's something that arose that basically killed men. It's like, I don't want the hassle. I don't want to deal with it. You know, if I'm going to get harassed or lose my fucking job, it's because you think I'm sexually harassing you because I'm trying to talk to you. I mean,
yeah, like, hey, how you doing? Are you like some kind of sex creep? No, I'm just asking you how you're doing.
Well, the real answer is, yeah, baby.
Are you staring at my extremely tight clothing? No, I wouldn't.
Well, it's quite revealing.
I wouldn't dare to do something like that. Oh my God.
Bing, 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 look at me, look at me. No, and it's funny, a lot of that reflects to how women view the world. The same man, or two different guys, can go up to a woman with the exact same compliment. But how that woman feels about that man approaching them is how she receives that compliment. If she's attracted to the guy, oh, it's a great compliment. If she's not attracted to the guy, same exact thing. He's a creep. But remember old Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck? Mm-hmm. Bugs Bunny, he got up on stage, does a little song and dance.
Right.
Standing ovation. Daffy Duck goes up there, does the exact same thing. Crickets. And that's the two different types of people that approach the woman, right? It's exact same song and dance, exact same approach, but how she feels about it is the response she gives you. And unfortunately, there's no logic to that.
No.
And we're trying to make laws and everything around that. We're costing people their livelihoods,
right,
over a woman's opinion. And it's unfortunate. It shouldn't be that way. Now, me as a man, I don't want any woman around me to feel uncomfortable. I don't. I'm actually kind of concerned. I'm overly concerned about it as a result because of that kind of stuff. So every now and then I try to check in. And you've seen me out and about when we go out. It's like I spend a lot of time just being nice and friendly. Problem is, it doesn't get you dates either, being nice and friendly.
No, it doesn't, but you do have to carry that within yourself. I mean, I don't want to have to walk up to a girl that, listen, smack her on the rear. Why don't we go on a date sometime, sweetheart? If you're lucky, I'll let you make me a sandwich.
Oh, jeez.
I don't really think that's going to help me in my cause. You know,
at this point, fuck it. We're on scorched earth policy now. I want my sandwich grilled, honey.
That cheese better be soft and chewy. Spring right on up. But here's, all jokes aside here, but I mean, another thing. I've been on dating apps, and I get ghosted like crazy. I mean, I understand that women, because of social media, have hundreds of more options now. Mm-hmm. If they're not talking to me anymore after a few times, then it's, probably because she hooked up with some other guy, found some other guy. There's some people that really understand that system well and can pull dates off of
dating apps tend to work.
They
work well for women. They don't work well for men.
I've seen people get married from social dating apps. I think that was kind of like in the early phases of social media apps. People
way back when it was taboo to even meet someone on the internet and marry them.
Well, when it first started off, dating in social media was okay because people were still dating by traditional values. They got into the date with intentions on hooking up with somebody. Now it just doesn't seem like that formula is there. it's other
They
things.
they
Here's what I
realize
think.
they have more options, and so it's easier just to kind of drop you and move on.
Here's what I've had. Hey, how you doing? We've talked back and forth. We've texted for about a week. I said, okay, I'm going to wait a week. A week is my goal. I'll text a woman a week before I try to take it to the next step. You know, give her some
That's
time.
fair, and that's going slow, and that's...
Yeah, give her some time, and it's going slow. Well, you know, after talking to this girl for about a week, I said, hey, why don't we meet up somewheres? We could do somewhere close to your house, public, around people that you know if you don't feel comfortable. She says, well, I don't know if I really trust that right yet. I said, that's fine. It's no big deal. So I talked to her. About 2 days later, she sends me this text message going, hey, do you think it's possible that I could borrow $150 from you? Blocked her right off. Instantly. I run into stuff like that on media all the time, too.
Wow.
There's so
I haven't
many...
seen that in a long time. But...
You know, here I'm going, you're going to tell me on one hand you don't trust me, and then you turn around and ask me for money. $150, I'm like, I'm not...
Scammers.
Just blocked her. I'm like, whatever. Yeah, you do
Probably should do more than block that person. Probably should report them if that's an option.
And I did.
Yeah, I mean...
it was an option on the platform that I was on. I won't mention what it was, but I did send in a message from there. But, you know, in this kind of scenario has happened to me a few times on there. I recently, you know, I might go through a couple times a week and hit some likes, you know what I mean? Or send a few text messages to people if I'm really interested, but most of the time there is no reply. Nobody's getting back with me, you know.
Well, here's my theory on that, and I've confirmed it a little bit by the few women I've dated from some of these things. The more attractive they are, the more options they're going to get, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? So every guy is going to shoot above their level and try to get the more attractive women.
Yes.
So therefore, they get the top, you know, a couple percent of women out there are going to get 100% of the men going after them. On the flip side of it is that the lower percentage of women are not going to get hurt by anybody. But you're going to shoot up, right? And you're going to go for someone you want. And men tend to be visual on that, and women tend to be pretty good at taking pictures in most cases. Mm-hmm. So they're going to get, you might craft a message based on something you see in the picture, which you're kind of supposed to do. You want to create something more personal when you approach them on dating apps. But they end up with on their end, I don't know, a dozen, 100 per day, people coming at them, and they got to filter through that. But I think their filtering process, I think females' filtering process is, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, I really think women out there, on the more attractive side of things, they have choice, because all men have to do is approach them. Men traditionally would approach women, well, and now it's expected that men approach women on dating apps too.
Yes.
So women end up with all the options. Now they have more options than ever. So they have choice, but deep down, they think they know what they want, but they don't really know what they want. And there's no good way of getting that through in a single message or on putting up pictures and filling out a dating app with, you know, just a few hundred words or whatever. It's like, you just can't put enough out there to demonstrate who you are, what kind of person you are.
You can't.
And to have them select from that. Plus, women are experiential too. They need to see you in action. And pictures and text, not going to cut it for them. Doesn't give them enough information to go on. And I've known this through neuroscience and experience. Women are much better at reading people in person.
Yes,
they can look a guy up and down.
Yes, they are.
Is that person dangerous? Is that person good? Is that, you know? And they're better at it because they have to be. Men are more capable of protecting ourselves from other men. But when women are a bit more frail, in most cases, can't always protect themselves, but it serves them good to identify danger ahead of time. So it does them much better to see you in person. So that's part of the faults of dating apps. Men flood to women, but they have choice, but then they choose a couple bad ones and they think, oh, all men are that way because they're getting so many bad experiences. And then, you know, the cycle kind of continues where men, we kind of know what we want for the most part, but we don't have that option. we got to go out and get it.
Right.
sometimes the guys that try too hard are sometimes the soft beta males that do nothing but just suck up to the woman all the time, and she might like that initially, but then she doesn't like it overall because he's not confident, he's not strong, he's not manly, and they tend not to like that.
Women do look at assertive confidence within men. They like that. That is it's not the be all end all. And I hear people tell me all the time, "Well, Rob, women aren't about looks." I'm sorry to tell you, but they are.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone is.
Everybody is to an extent, and women are just almost like men when it comes down to physical attraction. They can be. I mean, it's not rule all in every case. I understand that, but the majority of it is. I mean, they want somebody that looks, that they're attracted to. Just like us, we want somebody that we're attracted.
Well, physical attraction has a lot to do with, in my opinion, your health.
Especially, yes. And the biggest thing in connecting with a woman is physical attraction. If she's physically attracted to you, that is going to be the building block for other things. Then she's going to start looking at stuff like, oh, he's assertive and confident. He's, And
a lot of that comes from being in good shape, too.
We've seen plenty of movies where a man would walk into a room and women would just be sitting there checking him out physically. We've seen that go on in movies. We've seen it go on in real life.
Happens in real life, yeah. Movies are a bad example, but it does happen in real life.
What was that movie back in I think it was the 90s with, might have been early 2000s with Mel Gibson in it where he could read people's minds. That was a classic.
What women want, yeah.
Yes, what women want. And that was a classic example of, women do experience physical attraction towards men. It's just, maybe it's differently, maybe it's not the be all end all, but I'm sorry, but
Well, it's a deeply complicated subject.
I think it's attraction is one of the biggest components and formula in connecting with people in relationships.
It's definitely the first step.
Yes.
You're not likely
It's not the most predominant because after time, people are together. It just doesn't.
Right. After time, it's less of a necessity because you're more comfortable with people. But, and then it kind of it's almost like the office hot, right? The group of people you're around with most, the one that's most attractive is the most attractive one there. But then you build a relationship with these people, and it's like, oh yeah, and it's like. That person outside of that group may not be the hottest person in the world, but they're hottest person locally. So you tend to be attracted to that person, but then you got to know them, and there's something more there. There's a deeper connection if it develops into a relationship. But so yeah, the sample rate that we're seeing from social media apps, dating apps, is too high. I think it's difficult to filter down. It's difficult to find people, especially at more advanced stages with a lot. Everyone's carrying baggage with them. I mean, I personally am too, but a relationship. I'm working on myself.
I mean,
this is part of me.
What I would tell a date is I don't really care what happened in your past relationships. Don't bring them into your present.
Mm-hmm. Learn from them and move forward.
Learn from them. Yesterday is yesterday. If you've got something bad going on with your past relationship, you don't feel like talking about it, you shouldn't have to. I don't want to be a part of their past relationships.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to be a part of my past relationships.
Yeah, if you're not bringing children to the relationship with those people, just let them go. Yeah. Let them go. I mean, learn from your mistakes and move forward. Yeah,
That is something that should...
And understand that I'm not that person either. And it goes the same for men. And, there's had some bad experiences and good experiences with some women. And it's like, I try not to allow that to affect the next one, the next relationship. But we're human. We all make mistakes. We can do that. Behaviors and things like that might raise suspicion. Like, oh, God, here we go again. But... I try to be open and honest with it, but sometimes it's almost naive. Like I'm missing out on the like I'm missing the signs. You know, it's like, oh, here comes another one. You know, it's like, oh, got this sign coming. You know, it's like, oh, what was that? Oh, where the hell did that come from? You know, it's like red flags will beat you into the ground. Don't ignore these, man.
I mean, well, you know, it's like the modernization of things, I think, has really put a damper on relationships between people. That to an extent, I mean, just the whole approach in the dating world, approaching somebody to talk to them or letting them know that you're interested in them is just, it's taboo to somebody now, you know. And it used to be a very predominant thing within our culture that we could approach women and ask them out, you know. But that's shadily becoming a thing of the past. It's something that needs to be worked on within our relationships. Is, you know, women have to be more receptive to men. Let
me ask you this though: how often do you try, like, cold approach out in public?
I've done it at work.
Is this with a coworker or with
okay. Not an actual in my group coworker. I work in a school, so it was outside of that office worker that I kind of hit up on. I haven't been here lately approaching women and talking to them, especially in the bars. I really deem bars.
There is a flip side, which is why I ask. But
I really deem bars as an absolute bad place to talk to women. I really do. I really think it's one of the worst places to talk to a woman is in a bar. Most women are seriously on the off guard when you go to talk to them in a bar. Unless it's like bartenders, bar waitresses, things like that. You can socially interact with them. They're going to. You can socially interact with them, but they're so used to being hit on a lot.
And again, the more attractive they are, the more
the same thing goes with women that are in there. Especially the area that I'm from, super cliquey, tiny little town, and you know they don't feel like they want to be approached. I've had a lot of bad experiences with approaching women in bars. You know, cross my leg, turn my head, you know, that kind of thing. That has happened to me in the past, and it's going to happen. I have approached women, and I have talked to them. It's just, I don't do it so much because, like I said, with the social media events, things like that now, I just don't feel comfortable with doing it. And I've kind of stepped away from dating and approaching women and talk to them. The woman that I talked to at work, she was married, and I did not know that. And I asked her out, and she says, well, I'm married. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry about that. But
I'm sorry.
I didn't mean it like on her behalf. I apologize for hitting up on her. Of course, we can go that way with it. Yeah,
you're married. Oh, married.
What did you do? You must have been high that night.
Bought the cow, didn't you? Bought the cow. Must be a hell of a sandwich maker.
You can stack that dagwood up.
So, I forgot where I was going. That was a funny moment.
Yes.
Boy. Yeah, I don't know. I've been in and out of a few relationships lately, and it's been interesting. But me personally, this past year I've had it's just been tough because I've just been going through so much externally that it's been kind of like, what am I doing right now? I really shouldn't be doing this. But me, it's all about shoring up what I am, who I am, internally and externally, and then just trying to create an environment where I can, okay, now I would like to have someone join in. But man, it's almost like waiting for that person that's going to show up at the finish line versus someone who's going to join the race and run with you.
Right.
Now, the one that shows up at the finish line is usually the gold digger type, right? You've got your success, you've got your stability, you are where you're at. This person's just going to show up and
she
just
was
be
the
there.
one that wasn't interested in you when you were
Right.
back
When
here
you're struggling. When you're struggling, she didn't care. But now you're successful. She's like, oh, hi.
Hi, I'm available now.
So, yeah, that's not the one I really want. It would be nice to have that type of person that could just pick up, carry with you, and move forward, and not create a lot of drama along the way. But that, and just things also need to be all right. I got a lot of internal criteria where it's like, okay, I need these pieces to fit, and I've got 2 little girls too, and I got to make sure things are right with them. And I've made some mistakes along the way. I've introduced them, and that wasn't the smartest thing. But I think in the future, it's like, I got to know this person's right for me. I got to know if that person and I have a great relationship. I need that to be demonstrated in front of my girls this is what a natural relationship is. And that's kind of my hope. And that's where my goal is with it. But finding someone who's on board with that's been difficult, because I think a lot of people don't think in terms of relationships. They just think in terms of going back to what we were saying, like me. And
Yep.
and men and women are like that nowadays, which is not
Myself.
yeah, it's not what are you doing in a relationship, or what are you looking for a relationship if that's all you really care about is yourself? So, and it's kind of weird as I say that. I think it's like I'm working on myself, but I'm working on myself to be a better person overall.
Right. I mean, they're I'm sure
Complicated.
I'm sure within us all, there's an element of selfishness within us, but it's when we take the tool that we're chiseling with and stop chiseling. You know what I mean?
You're saying stop because good enough.
Yeah. Or let the selfish end.
But I haven't chiseled my abs yet, man.
Yeah. We take the selfish end of things and say, okay, well, I don't need to. We stop telling ourselves that we need to improve on who it is we are, and that can be dangerous. I think it leads to
Dangerous to stop improving about who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to tell you that I am this selfless being. I have formed societies because I'm so selfless. No, there is still work that needs to be done within me, to make me the better person that I.
Sometimes it's helpful to have a person that you can trust, and they can point that out for you.
Yes.
And that's another part of a healthy
sometimes
relationship.
people don't like that pointed out.
Well,
but it does go in that direction.
That's a childish mentality too.
Yeah.
That's not a growth mindset.
How dare you point out my flaws? I'm too perfect for you. Whatever, punk.
All right, go on, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah. Mr. Perfect, he threw his own 70-yard touchdown and caught it.
Well, how do you want to chew this up? we're a little shy on time. I don't quite normally do this in a time-based
Well, I
manner.
think that what is it that we could do as people?
Well, how can we improve this? How can we fix the situation?
I mean, learn to look at the other person and what they're going through besides ourselves so much.
And practice empathy is what you're saying?
I mean, empathy might need to be done in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
You've got to learn to look at what other people are going through. You've got to have an understanding that you're not the only person in that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just within the relationship. Getting to the relationship is what I'm trying to do, but
yeah,
it is a fight. It's a battle. It's not going to quit. There are some things where I need to learn to improve on, and I'm slowly doing it, but eventually I'll get there. I got to do something soon. But I guess the moral of the story is when it comes down to relationship, everybody needs to work at the improvements done a little bit harder, I guess.
I agree. Yeah, and it's something that not enough people do. Like, too many people think they're perfect already, and that they don't need to improve upon themselves. And everyone needs a mold around them. That's a very ignorant way of getting through life, is thinking the world needs to bend around you as opposed to you conforming to the world and and making it work. Could be either ignorance or arrogance that brings upon that thought. But, anyway, well, let's we're going to wrap this segment up here and maybe continue on. But let's we're in the middle of the holidays here. Pub Wisdom's been running for a little over a year now. We're kind of things are growing, things are getting better. Table's upright now. We'll fill in the cracks and shine it up later. But what have you got coming for the new year? Any resolutions or anything like that?
Yes, my goal is to get back in the gym and get into shape. Really work at getting my body weight down. Taking a little bit better goal steps with my blood sugar, changing and making improvements on my diet. Those are probably the biggest goals right now that I want to do.
Get back to your powerlifter status.
Yeah. He is Rob.
We need Arvid.
Yes.
Get ready. Hey, let's set a goal for the Renaissance Festival. Does it start like in September?
I want to be able to do this, like extend out my hand and millionaire just.
You want to be worthy.
Worthy.
Yeah, I think, God, if we could put together a costume for you to make you Arvid from Norseman, yeah, and I think that would make that a goal. You know, it's very useful. It's like, okay, I want to be in good shape for this event, and it's like 6-8 months out or whatever. Gives you enough time to kind of make some improvements, at least improve upon from where you're at now.
Yes.
Right, and working out is one of those things. Exercising, dieting, it's one of those things where it's like you do really hard one day, you really see no results, but you work consistently over time, and you will see results. And that's the biggest thing, is trying to keep things consistent. And juggling regular life and everything else makes it tough, but
the best results come from consistent hard work.
I mean, internal discipline is what keeps that going. You gotta stay consistent with it. So yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I mean, I've been going up and down with my weight and my health, and I've had stress levels going through the roof, but I think things are getting under control again, and I'd like to see the pub go a little further in social media. So I don't pander to likes and subscribes, but I'm gonna start requesting some of that here and there. Mm-hmm. Like and subscribe every video, comment on it, and I want to see some feedback and good positive feedback in the comment section. I've had people come up to me and tell me great things. It's like, oh, doing good interviews, listen to that. I'm like, cool. Write in the fucking comments. It helps build up the algorithm. It helps tell YouTube and Facebook or whatever, hey, people are taking notice of this. Right now we're currently on YouTube and we're on Facebook, and I'd like to move that to some greater platforms I believe tonight is number 19, and we'll hit 20. And from Chris Williamson in Modern Wisdom, he said most podcasts never make it past 20. So I'm on the edge. We're getting there. Things are improving. Things are looking better. Working on my skills, my interview skills, and even the table's up high enough we could put a sponsor in front. Things like that. Beer sponsor would be kind of cool too. Beer or bar, and looking for more interesting people to run into and interview. And I like to stay at this blue collar level, but I also want to talk to some bigger and better guests out there that I want to get more involved in conversations of, burping beer. More conversations like Elon Musk. I can't say I want to interview him right away. I would love to talk to him. But on a technical level, like I watched Joe Rogan interview him a couple times, and at first it's like, it was tough. Joe Rogan's great. Knows nothing about the technical side, and he's asking him questions as if he's like Tony Stark. Well, how do you do all this stuff? He doesn't do it all, but I understand how he delegates and operates. But there's a lot in the Tesla community. There's a lot of YouTubers and stuff out there that are big into talking about Tesla and the technical side and the financial side and investment side. And I would love to be a part of those conversations too. But there's other things like health and nutrition, and many other subjects and topics I'd like to talk about. And
I would like to touch on health, but I don't want to do it in the current condition that I'm in.
Well, you know what? Hey, like I said, make that a goal. I'd love to do a Renaissance Festival thing here. I've got the axe, right? So, but I would love to do. I would love to do a Renaissance Festival. I know Chad from the Bistro. those guys, they go there every year. They get dressed up, man, and they do the whole thing. I would love to do that again. I did it with them once. It was so much fun. We went around. We did the pub crawl. Please take the day off next day. They take you around to all the pubs there. They have what I call 2 Toastmasters. And it's one of the things that gave me the idea of doing the toasts and the reels and stuff. But once they get to every pub, they stand up there, usually up on a table or on a something. They stand up high, and they call out to the crowd, and they tell a story, and they tell a funny story, and they have a toast. They raise a toast, and everyone drinks and clanks mugs, and it is just a blast. And to be there, be in character, to see all the other characters dressed up out there, it is a lot of fun. So let's say, hey, let's do that again. And you want to make yourself a goal? Make yourself a goal and come back on here and show me the difference, right?
I really want to press. I mean,
so we can, because you and I a long time ago, back in high school, we worked out together. We were quite strong back in the day, and
we used to do quite a bit in the gym, man.
Yeah,
I remember those days. I need to get back to that. And I'm 50 years old, but it's not too late to do a little bit, take the right steps in the right direction,
All right, I think we'll wrap up this segment here. Mm-hmm. We can pick up another one maybe later, and be good to your servers, tip them well, and good night from the pub. Thanks for listening this long. Oh, you're out. Sorry.